Good morning, children. We are here today at the last part of this third level, wherein we are going to see the detailed study of this last part. You already know that the narrator has come across the third level, and you know that the third level is there at the Grand Central Station. Now the question is it that the writer has moved into a fantastic world? Is it the narrator is in his own imaginative world? And the imaginative flight he has to escape from the reality. He also makes us to believe that the third level really existed. And we are all wondering whether he has started wondering about this particular world. The world that was very peaceful. The world away from all the worries. Is it that for Charlie, Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape from insecurities, fear, war, and worries? He has started wandering into the fanciful world of 1894. The world which had peaceful existence of people. There was a harmony. And he goes on talking about how the things were during that particular time, still undeveloped. Away from the World War II, away from the harsh realities of the contemporary life. Charlie wants to buy 2 tickets. Where does he want to go? He wants to go to Galesburg. But the clerk is very surprised to see that he was possessing different kinds of notes. And then he warns him. He says, "This isn't money, mister." And then Charlie runs away from there, goes away from there. Would Charlie ever go back to the ticket counter on the third level to buy tickets to Galesburg for himself and his wife? The question is, will he again try to get the tickets? Now let's think over that and let's move on to the next paragraph. And that was that I left the same way I came, I suppose. So he has come back from third level. Next day during lunch hour, I drew $300 out of the bank, nearly all we had, and bought old style currency that really worried my psychiatrist friend. So here he once again thinks of going back. So he has come back from third level. Now once again he thinks of going back to that level, and now probably he wants to transport into that particular world where he can lead a very peaceful life. You can buy old money at almost any coin dealers, but you have to pay a premium. Now here his psychiatrist friend is wondering that really he has got some mental issues. He is facing mental illness. Because now that whatever was imaginative world, that fantastic world, Charlie has started living into that world. And he has gone to the bank and he has bought old style currency. You can buy old money at almost any coin dealers. but you have to pay a premium. You have to pay some amount there. My $300 bought less than 200 in old style bills, but I didn't care. So he didn't care for that, but he wanted to go to Gettysburg. He wanted to lead peaceful life. He wanted to be in harmony with nature. Eggs with 13 cents a dozen in 1894. Everything was quite cheap. But he didn't care for all that, how much money he got. He wanted to Gettysburg. He badly wanted to Gettysburg. Probably that is what the narrator wants to tell us. But I have never again found the corridor that leads to the third level at Grand Central Station, although I have tried often enough. He says again he has not been able to find that corridor. Though he wanted, he had that old currency. Now there was no problem. Now he can easily buy the tickets, he can go to Gettysburg. Louisa was pretty worried when I told her all this and didn't want me to look for the third level anymore. And after a while I stopped. I went back to my stamps. Louisa was worried that really he was facing mental problem. And she was not ready to believe all that. Then he felt it's a better to go into a stamps world. But now we are both looking every weekend because now we have proof that the third level is still there. And how it says? My friend Sam Weiner disappeared. Now when Sam has disappeared, nobody knew where, but I sort of suspected because Sam is a city boy and I used to tell him about Gettysburg. I went to school there and he always said he liked the sound of the place and that's where he is alright in 1894. Sam was a psychiatrist. Probably one is fed up with urban life, wants to go back and remain in the lap of the nature, remain there in the rural area, lead rustic life. You are at peace. You are in harmony with nature. Probably go into that. Sam wished and Sam could fulfill that. He has disappeared means here they all feel that probably he has gone to that Gettysburg because one night fussing with my stamp collection when I was just checking my stamp collection I found, well, do you know what a first day cover is? When a new stamp is issued, at that time, first day cover is released. And stamp collectors also buy first day covers. So he's having the hobby of philately. And philately, you collect the stamps which are quite old, which have been released in 90s and early 20s, late 20s. Probably that takes you to that historical world. Now, here we see that he has got this hobby, and now when he has not been able to go to third level, he goes back to his hobby and goes on seeing those stamps, probably enjoying those times. The clerk figured the fare. He glanced at my fancy headband, but he figured the fare and I had enough for 2 coach tickets one day. Now here he has come to the ticket window. Now he wants to buy 2 tickets for himself and for his wife. Now he has demanded 2 tickets. So the clerk tells him how much the fare would be. So he calculates the ticket fare. And then he looks at his fancy headband. Now it was the era of 1890s, but he was living in 1950s. and he figured the fare, and I had enough for two coach tickets one way. But when I counted out the money and looked up, the clerk was staring at me. He nodded at the bills. The bills here means notes. The currency that he had, that ain't money. So, mister, so he says, that is not the money. So the currency that was there during 1890s, that was different. And now what he had produced, that was different. And if you are trying to skin me, you won't get very far. So trying to skin me here, if you are trying to fool me, it's not that very easily you can fool me. And he glanced at the cash drawer beside me. So what was there next to him? There was a cash drawer. Beside means next, by the side. Whereas besides mean in addition to. So he looked at the cash drawer that was there, and there he found old style bills. Of course, the money was old style bills. The currency that was there of different period. Half again as big as the money we use nowadays. And different looking. So here he talks about that particular period when that old currency was existing, but he did not have that, and therefore the clerk tells him that he was trying to fool him. I turned away and got out fast. So he runs away from there. There's nothing nice about jail even in 1894. So rather than getting arrested and moving into the jail, he felt that it's a better to run away from there and goes away from there. Charlie has cultivated the hobby of philately, and it's a very common and effective way for him to keep the past alive, to remember about the past, to live into that world of the past. Probably this hobby has helped him. So whenever he wants to escape into the past, probably he goes back to those stamps. He goes back to those first day covers. He has so many first day covers in his collection and use them to mail envelopes to themselves on the very first day of sale. So that is first day cover. And the postmark that is there on the first day cover proves the date on which it is released, on which the stamp is issued. The envelope is called a first day cover. They are never opened. You just put blank paper in the envelope. That night, among my oldest first day covers, I found out one that shouldn't have been there. Probably he is trying to convince us that he has really been there at the third level. But there it was. It was there because someone had mailed it to my grandfather at his home in Galesburg. So he goes to the times of grandfather. Probably grandfather has told him so many things about those times. And that's what the address on the envelope said. And it had been there since July 18, 1894. So all those dates that we find, those are the dates of 1894. The postmark showed that. Yet I didn't remember it at all. See, earlier he talks about the newspaper. Now he is talking about the letter. And now it was there because someone had mailed to my grandfather. And that's what the address on the envelope. So what is this? This is a first day cover and one of the oldest first day cover. And what was the date there? July 18, 1894. It had remembered, and he says that that was not there in the collection, but now it is there. Probably he is making sure, yes, he has been there to the third level. He has been there to the Galesburg. The stamp was a 6 cent, dull brown with a picture of President Garfield. Naturally, when the envelope came to Granddad in the mail, it went right into his collection and stayed there till I took it out and opened it. Now here the narrator finds the art very convenient way to escape from reality. The art, the hobby of philately transcends harsh realities of the contemporary world. And remember that he earlier says that modern life is full of insecurity, fear, war, and worries. And here, people like Charlie, they try to escape from the reality. It's incompatible with their dreams and aspirations. That's why they indulge in daydreaming. They indulge in a waking dream wish fulfillment. And let's see whether it is a medium of escape for Charlie. There's a turning point in this story, a kind of climax. Till this time, Sam has been trying to convince Charlie that he's trying to escape from reality and he's living in his fantastic world. He's into fantasy. He has imaginative flight. So that is not the reality. But here, now he talks about the first day cover, then he comes to the letter. The paper inside wasn't blank, it read. And let's see here what is written there. The address 941 Willard Street, Gillsburg, Illinois, July 18, 1894. Charlie. It wasn't blank, something is written there. I got to wishing that you were right. Who says this? Then I got to believing you were right. And Charlie, it's true. I found the third level. I've been here 2 weeks and right now down the street at the delis, someone is playing a piano. People are all very happy. They are playing a piano. Nobody is objecting to that. And they are all out on the front porch singing, Sing Nellie Home. Probably the song at that particular period which was very popular. And I am invited over for lemonade. The neighbors were very kind to each other, very hospitable to each other. Come on back, Charlie and Louisa. So good social life they led. Now every human being is an island in itself. We have become more materialistic. The concept of joint family has gone. We talk about nuclear families. Keep looking till you find the third level. It's worth it. Believe me. And who has written this letter? The note is signed Sam. And that's the turning point. See, at the beginning of the story, it's a Charlie. We feel that Charlie was in his own world. He wanted to escape from the reality. But now here is a letter written by Sam. Did really third level exist? At the stamp and coin store I go to, I found out that Sam bought $800 worth of old style currency that ought to set him up in a nice little hay, feed and grain business. So what business he can do? Probably during that time, nobody required psychiatrist. Nobody faced mental illness. People were all quite happy. There was no sadness. He always said that's what he really wished he could do. And he certainly can't go back to his old business. Not in Galesburg. No, there's psychiatrist is not required. Illinois in 1894. His old business. Why? Sam was my psychiatrist. So he can't think about that business. Selling hay, feed and grain. So that kind of business he can look for there. So people were leading a very peaceful life. Nobody was facing psychological problems. Nobody faced mental illness. It was peaceful existence. And it was called for Charlie by Sam. That's what Charlie feels. And there's a twist in this story at the end.